Hey guys, I'm Chef D-Max. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a simple salsa macha. Now I know you've heard about this probably before. It's kind of a popular salsa that's out there, and I'm going to show you guys how to make it today. So stay with me. Click subscribe if you're not doing that. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And ring that bell and I'll send you what I have coming up soon, which is some really good stuff too. So see you back in a second with salsa macha. Okay, you guys, salsa macha. What is salsa macha? It's basically just chilies with some flavorings. Now, those flavorings change depending on what country this is coming from. Chilies are all around the globe. So we see this salsa, we see this kind of spicy chili oil. It's virtually a chili oil, and this chili oil you'll see a lot in Mexico with salsa macha. You'll see this a lot in Asia as well. They'll have different chili oils, and they basically make it very similar way. They make different. Sometimes they'll add different nuts. They'll add maybe ginger to this. They'll add different seeds. So they change those things up. It's basically just oil, chilies, and usually there's garlic in there and some type of nut. And then we're going to balance it. So with this, you kind of want to use a neutral oil. You don't want to use an extra virgin olive oil. You want to use like a grapeseed oil is a good one. You could use a canola oil. I actually have some really light almond oil that I've had for a while. I want to get rid of that. So I think I'm going to probably try to use it all actually. I'm going to use 1 cup, I think. So it looks like I have 1 cup left. Yep, see, 1 cup. 1 full cup of my oil. Okay, and again, this is avocado oil. It's a super lean oil, but I would suggest grapeseed is my favorite for this. Now with that, we're going to add garlic cloves. So here I've peeled garlic cloves. I've got a 1/2 cup of peeled garlic cloves. We're going to put those in, okay? Then I'm going to have peanuts. Now raw, these are untoasted, unsalted peanuts. They've just been peeled. Actually, a couple of them are not peeled. I'll eat that. Raw peanuts aren't as tasty. So, garlic peanuts need to be bloomed. So that's why what we're going to do is put 1/2 cup of peanuts in there as well. So 1/2 cup of garlic, 1/2 cup of peanuts. Now, I put sesame seeds in mine. And here I have some sesame seeds that are already toasted. So I don't want to put them in just yet. Okay? So I'm going to turn my oil up. And I'll start to stir this around. And so you can see we have our oil, garlic, and nuts. And we're going to let that really toast and develop their flavor. Okay? Now, with this, I'm going to use 3 different types of chilies. Now, you don't have to use 3, but I'm just using 3 today. You can use 1 type. But it really depends on what your spiciness level, what you want spicy-wise, right, for your chili oil. Now, some people like to have a chili oil. Like I like a chili oil that I can put quite a bit of the chili on. I can put like a tablespoon of the oil around, and it's not going to be overly spicy. So if you want something like that, you need to blend your oil, blend them. Some like things like ancho and guajillo chilies they tend to be a little bit more mild than like an arbor. Like this arbor chili, looks like a Thai chili, is super spicy. So if I just did it with that, what you're going to end up with is a chili oil that's really hot. Just putting a teaspoon on is going to make something fiery hot, which is great if you want that as a condiment. Sometimes it's nice to have a really fiery hot condiment and then one condiment that's less hot like that. So with this, I'm gonna take these ancho chilies. You can see these are beautifully dry roasted ancho chilies, right? And I want to take the stem off, and I'm going to take the excess seeds off. There will be some seeds in these when you add it to your dish, but I don't want excess, and I want to pull these ribbons out. This kind of the center of the chili out. That's where there's a lot of heat as well. Okay, so I'm taking anything tough out, the stems, the ribs in here, because that's where, like I said, the excess heat is, and most of the seeds is where like you get a lot of heat as well. And what I'm going to end up with is just a few seeds like that, and then my chili, like this, the beautiful dried skin of that chili. Okay, I'm going to do that with 3 of these. So again, just tear it open with your fingers. It's dry, so it's going to want to come open. And the reason I don't put all these seeds, I just don't like excess seeds in there, and I'll make it super spicy. Now see this right there, be very hot too. This is that kind of the ribbed wall of the chili holds a lot of heat in there. Okay, so by pulling that out, you're gonna lower the heat level of this, which is fine because we want to add the heat level from our ball because that has a nice spicy flavor too. So 3 dried anchos. You can get these chilies. You can buy these online. I suggest just buying them online. You can, if you have a local grocery store where you can get chilies, like if you live in Texas or you live in California, even Florida now has like a lot of different chili. A lot of different states have these kind of markets where you're going to find those beautiful dried chilies. If you live in like a place like Santa Fe, New Mexico, you're going to have the best dried chilies available. Now, guajillo chili, again, very flavorful chili. Like you see, it's beautiful velvety chili. I'm going to use 3 of those. Again, not ultra spicy. Like this is how I keep them. I just keep them in an airtight container. After I buy them like this, I'll put these in an airtight container in my dry storage, and they'll last there for a long time. So this, you can see this chili. Look how smooth that is and shiny. It's beautiful. Now I want to turn this down because I want to toast this nicely, but I don't want to fry them burnt, right? So I want to toast my my peanuts and my garlic till they're cooked, okay? And they're going to give off a lot of nice flavor, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to add these chilies in. By adding the chilies in, chilies are going to give us really nice kind of toasted flavor to this, as well as to give us a little bit of crunch too. As right here, this is kind of dry and velvety and soft. Once we toast them, they'll get a little crunchier. So when we grind those up, they'll have a nice texture to them. So this one doesn't really have too much stem on there, so I'm just kind of getting rid of the excess seeds like that. Okay, so I've got the rib out in the center like this. You can see these little ribs that just kind of come out like this, right? And then the body there. Now the last one, you got to be careful with your fingers, and this is where I leave the seeds in on these because these are hot anyway, and I'm not putting a lot anyway. So I'm going to put probably, 3. I did 3 of the big chilies. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these small chilies. But these small chilies, like I said, are going to be very hot. Okay, so I've got my chilies here ready. These big ones I'll just chop up a little bit smaller, so they all toast a little bit more evenly in here. You don't have to do this because at the end we're gonna put this in like a Roboku or like a Cuisinart. You can use a hand blender to chop this up. So they're going to be chopped up anyway. I just do this so they kind of float around more evenly in the pot. Okay, but they're ready to go. Now, I'm looking at you can see my garlic is starting to toast a little. Still not done, but we're going to add that in like that. I'm not going to add any flavorings yet. I usually put salt in this. I'll put a little bit of rice wine vinegar at the end just for balance of acidity and a little bit of sugar. But the salt, the sugar, and the vinegar we'll do at the end when we're grinding this, and after we let it like lightly cool down a little bit, so we can taste what they're doing to this kind of chili oil. This is probably going to take another minute or 2. So I'm going to let this toast for another couple minutes, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. Now, let's take a look at this. You see this, the peanuts are like getting nicely browned, right? And look at your garlic. The garlic's getting nicely toasted. They're going to continue to toast, and that's what I want them to do. But I want to also toast the rest of this. Now, my sesame seeds have already been toasted, but I'm going to just measure them. It's a half cup of them as well. So it gives you an idea. We've got a half cup of, we got a cup of oil, we got a half cup of garlic cloves, a half cup of peanuts, and a half cup of sesame seeds. And then I'm going to put all of this chili in as well. And I'm going to toast these. And I want to just stir this in and let those chilies and that oil toast. Keep them down in the oil like this. Let them bloom in there. You know, they're dry. They've been dried, dehydrated, and this oil is going to really bloom them and bring their flavors out. So we do want to toast those a little bit. What we're going to do, what's going to be more important, is that right when we get to the point where these are done, or where everything is really nicely toasted, then we're just going to turn it off, and we're going to let the chilies kind of cool in there. Now, this is the reason that we chopped them up a little bit. Normally this pan is a little wide for this amount, for this small amount like this. You could probably go with a smaller pot, a smaller, tighter pot that's taller, so the oil's deeper. Either way, it's fine. But by cutting the chilies, it does help me to evenly get them in this oil and press them down, so you don't have like a clump of them just sticking up out of the oil. We want this in here toasting. And then we also, as we let this oil cool before we blend it, we want them to sit in this oil. So right now I'm just kind of moving them in this oil, blending them. You can see, look at the goldenness of this. You see the goldenness of this oil? The oil is toasted with the garlic, toasted with the sesame seeds, toasted with the peanuts, and then now all these chili flavors are going to come in here. This is going to be a wonderful garlic chili spicy oil that we can use. Now, what do you use this on? I use this on lots of stuff. I mean, scrambled eggs in the morning, a little bit of chili oil on there is fantastic. Any type of a beautiful grilled fish, nice chili oil like this. But it works in a million things. A lot of times I always kick up like if you're making cheap ramen sometimes, you can add some vegetables and you put the spoonful of this chili oil in at the end, and it really changes the dimension of and the flavor of everything that you have in there. And you knew this condiment that you're making is fresh. You made it. So you know what you put in it. You put beautiful dried chilies in it. You put, fresh garlic in it. You put nice seeds in there and nuts, and so it's perfect. Now, the beautiful thing about this is you can change this around. I'm going to turn this off now because I think it's getting toasty enough. My garlic is toasted enough. And I just want, at this point, I'm going to add a little salt now, okay? I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, okay? And I'm going to add the same tablespoon of sugar, because this is spicy, so the sugar kind of will help offset that a little bit and gives a nice flavor to this. The acidity of the vinegar I won't add till later, because you'll lose that with this heat. So whenever you add vinegar to heat, it kind of tapers down, it balances out the acidity levels. So we don't want to do that. We want the acidity level to be there. So we want it to be cool once we add our vinegar in there. So that's why we don't add it now. The salt and the sugar we want to add now because we want it to blend in a little bit. I want the sugar to kind of like cook a little bit with these oils. Now, if we put it in the beginning, it would start to cook too much. It would caramelize in there and cause stuff to burn. That's so we don't put it in the early stage like that. So with this, again, we've turned this off. We're going to let this cool. Probably going to be about 15 minutes before we blend this because I just want to let it cool and soak up I'll let all these chilies soak up all of that flavor of the oil, let the oil cool down, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I'll see you back in a little bit. Okay guys, welcome back. What I did was I moved the oil and everything into this container here so we could blend this up nice. The oil has cooled down. I'm just going to take a hand blender and I'm going to go ahead and hold on 1 second here. I got to push this in at the same time. Let me see. I'm just going to work my blender in with this oil. Now, there's not like an excess amount of oil, so this is going to make your chili oil a little bit pastier. I'll show you what that looks like. So give me a second here. Okay, I've been working it for a little bit here, and it still needs about a couple minutes of kind of back and forth at it. And I'll show you what this looks like when we get it all ground up. You just want to work with it like this. Now you can put it in a Cuisinart and make it a lot easier to do. Hand blenders are easy just because it's a simple cleanup when you're doing a small project like this. But you can see already how this beautiful, this paste starting to form, right? The peanuts are gonna give it a little bindingness, right? As they're smooth, you know? And the sesame seeds kind of stay whole. Some of them get broken up, but most of them stay whole. They let out their oil, and they're going to really flavor this. And the chilies have come together really nicely. So let me finish blending, and we're going to taste it and balance it at that point. Okay, it's been blending for a second. I went down to the slower one. Now I'm going to go faster. And it's really gotten to the point where it's almost done. All my chilies look like they're ground up nice. We don't have any whole pieces of garlic or peanuts in there. Everything is really blended nicely. Okay, and I'll show you what it looks like. But I want to taste this. You want to be careful when you taste it, because it could be extremely hot. You never know, some of the peppers could be hotter than you thought. You put too many of one. But this is nice chili flavor without it being extremely hot, which is great, which is what I want, because I'm going to put about a half teaspoon of salt in there, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of vinegar. Now the vinegar is just going to brighten things up. That's all it does. It has enough sweetness, so that tablespoon of sugar was making it sweet enough, which I think is perfect. The chilies are not overly hot. If you wanted to make this hotter, you'd probably put maybe about 24 of those little arbor chilies in there instead of 12 that we put. You could probably double it. No, that was the perfect amount of vinegar. Gave me a little acidity. I think it still needs salt. So put another half teaspoon. That's going to give you 2 teaspoons that you're putting in here. Okay? So I'll blend this in. Now I'm done. So I'll remove this, and I'll show you what this looks like. Let's get a nice jar to hold this in here. Okay. Got all of this beautiful chili oil. I don't want to waste any of it. Right? Scoop it all out of here like this. Okay. We get a towel here so I can stick that right there. Now, look at this chili oil. Can you guys see that? Look how beautiful that looks. Shiny. All the chilies are ground up nice. And it's ready to go into my jar. I don't want to close it just yet because my chilies are still a little warm. Okay. And all that beautiful chili and oils there. This is fantastic when you just want to have a nice bit of chili flavor with your eggs, or you want to have like a nice a little bit of, I think, any type of dish where you would add a spicy chili, a spicy pepper to that, you could add to this. But the difference is this is going to give you flavor too. This is not just hot chili in your mouth. This is flavor. This is garlic. The peanuts give you this really beautiful flavor as well. The sesame. That's fantastic. What you're looking for? Balance and flavor. Spicy, nutty, salty, a little acidic, a little touch of sweet. All those balancing together to make a wonderful chili oil. So hope you enjoy it. Try it at home. Super simple. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. So I'll see you back in my kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.